Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jessie Milestone, and this is a new series I'm trying out called What the Fuck is a Fencing Referee? So you may have seen What the Fuck is Fencing. That was the prequel to this. Came out earlier this week because Matt wanted to know some of that stuff. Wolfgang wanted to know more about the trials that fencing goes through as a sport with referees. And that sort of triggered this whole big snowball thing because that's not a little topic, especially as someone who's been a fencing referee now for nationally for over 6 years. I have a lot of experience. I have some unique experience in it because some real fucked up shit's happened to me. And so Wolfgang, thank you for this inspiration. We're going to talk all about the fuck a fencing referee is, and we're just gonna get a little bit into it today, because this is gonna go on forever. So, if you watch the other video, if you don't know what the fuck fencing is, watch the What the Fuck is Fencing video first, otherwise you're gonna be like, what is she talking about? So, I referee saber primarily. That's the slashy one, right? And we talked about right-of-way a little bit at the end of that video. Right-of-way, right? Two people crash into each other, who gets the touch? And I went over it a little bit, like, one person's going forward, the other person's going backwards, one person blocks the blade, etc., etc. Now, that's fine, and right-of-way works a little bit differently in foil than it does in saber, right? So, in foil, it's kind of like no one really has the right-of-way until they establish it. Like, they can kind of go back and forth, and they'll wander forwards and wander backwards and blah, 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 and then someone takes it. Boom. So once you get to be established as a foil referee, it's much more clear, and it's a little less subjective, partially because everyone, like, for some reason a few years ago, most people just kind of started agreeing on foil, at least the people on top, and they were like, let's implement a program where we teach everyone how to call foil the same way. That'll make sense. And in saber, they were still busy being like, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm no more shit than you. No, yeah. In case you can't tell, people in the fencing world are fucking childish. That's what you get when you have sports personalities. If you know anything about sports personalities, if you watch any sports at all, people who play sports tend to be more aggressive, a little more direct, and a little bit egotistical. That's the thing. Now, fencing, that's an individual sport. Fencing is an individual sport, which means that everybody in this tends to be a lot more like, we don't play well with others. We're talking like the entrepreneur CEO type who's like, fucking my way or the highway. What I say goes, or get the fuck out. And so when all these people try to have a conversation, it doesn't go well. Everyone wants to be the boss. No one wants to compromise and listen to the other people. And saber's the worst for that because we're the most aggressive weapon. Saber, like, if you want to take saber in the real world, we are toxic masculinity. That's right. My weapon is toxic masculinity, and I embrace that, and I am proud of that. So fuck you, women. I don't know. I don't know where we go with that. Point is that sometimes there are manly men in the world, and some days, in spite of me being a woman, I can be one of them. That was a weird tangent. So yes. So my job essentially is to stand on a strip, say, on guard, ready, fence. That's the thing you say. And that hand signal, yeah, we do hand signals. There's not enough room to do them like the way we actually do them here. Boom, because they're real big. But just know that they're hand signals. On guard, ready, fence is the hand signal for on guard, ready, and fence. And then we say halt, and then we do other fun things like the attack is parry, the riposte is no, the remise arrives, touch, point, whee. That's all like in a tiny little box, which I would get yelled at for doing in the tournament because you're supposed to make them real big in the tournament. So that's one thing I do. I look like I'm directing airplanes. And then I'm watching people move as fast as humanly possible and wave very thin sticks of metal around as fast as humanly possible. And I have to know things like, did that stick of metal hit that stick of metal on the upper third or the lower third or somewhere in the middle? And was that somewhere in the middle high enough that it counts as their beat or low enough that it counts as the other person's parry? I have to know that. You make shit up sometimes. You don't really make shit up, but basically it's impossible to actually see everything that happens. You have to rely on all the information you get to actually referee the sport of fencing. It's not just, oh, okay, well, that person did this thing, so it's obviously his beat attack because I saw him make a beat attack. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, the blades, they came in the middle and the blades hit, and that guy yelled, and that guy went, oh. So probably that guy's beat, probably that, and that's oftentimes the only way I have of determining, because that's a really simple basic touch. If both fencers come together, one person hits the blade and goes, the other one just goes straight. That's a pretty simple one where as you're fencing, you know exactly who took the beat. You know exactly who took the beat because you feel it really, really clearly. But that action is like, bah, hey, which hand did I beat with, huh? Tell me, which hand made the beat attack? Which hand? Tell me right now. It was this one, by the way. And that's what it's kind of like. That happens, right? Bah, bah, bah. Oh, who made the beat attack? You didn't see who initiated the action because that fencer's now screaming at you. And if that fencer didn't have the reaction and wants that touch, that fencer's now screaming screaming at you. Sometimes even if that fencer's screaming at you and that fencer's not, that coach is screaming at you and that coach is also screaming at you because they don't know the fencer didn't make the beat, or they just want to sell the touch for them anyway. So you're standing there and you're like, I honestly couldn't tell you, gun to my head, like who actually made that beat without any of that extra information. And everyone's screaming because they want the touch. And you're like, beat attack arrives from the right. Sometimes even the fencer on the left will be like, yeah, touche. And that coach on the left will still be like, what? That was obviously my fencer's beat. And yeah, they do it that loudly. So I basically get verbally abused. That's what refereeing is. It's fun for me for some reason. I don't know why it is. I don't know why. I'm just a perfectionist. I start doing things and I want to do better at it. And now this is a thing that's going to come up in this discussion, guys. I know that like some of you watching don't believe in feminism at all. I know some of you watching don't believe that there's actually a disparity in the way men and women are treated in this country. I know some of you watching don't believe that there's an issue there. You guys are wrong. I'm sorry. You're just wrong. I'm not that sorry. There is, and that is something that is going to happen in this series. You're going to learn about that, right? Because I've said many, many times, I'm treated differently all the time because I'm female. That happens. Like, you can't say that women and men are treated exactly the same in daily life, are talked to the same way, are spoken to the same way, are dictated to the same, whatever. It doesn't happen. There are inherent differences based on what the ideas we were raised with, and that's normal. I don't think that's always a bad thing. Sometimes it is. It's not always a bad thing. So as I've said many times, I have been treated differently on the basis of my sex, a bunch, in my life, because I am, from little things like, when someone asks a group of people, like, hey, and they always come, like, I need 3 strong men to help me carry this. And I'm looking around at the men, and I'm like, I'm stronger than all of them, right? But that's fine, whatever. That doesn't hurt me. That doesn't, like, affect my life, except it insults my my woman power. It doesn't actually like hurt me or is damaging to me in my like stature in society. It doesn't affect my rights or anything, but that's different treatment based on sex. The point is though, in fencing, as a fencing referee, that's the first time in my life and the only place I really truly feel discriminated against on the basis of my sex. So that's a fun thing that happens. Why do I do this? I don't know. I really don't know. We're going to find out. This is going to be a fun discussion. This is a little frenetic, a little all over the place, but that should give you a sense of like what the refereeing world is like. And Wolfgang, to directly answer your question, what are some of the big challenges in hiring referees for tournaments? They treat the referees, U.S. fencing treats the referees like shit most of the time. So more on that to come. If you guys are interested in this, if you have questions, because this is a huge topic. This has been a huge part of my life for years and years and years. If there are specific things you want to know, ask in the comments by all means. If you want to dictate topics of my video, just like Wolfgang did, you can join my Patreon community. Also, let me know feedback. Do you like this series? Do you want to know more about fencing? Do you want to know more about Jesse as a referee? Or you're like, fuck this, talk about Star Wars more. I'm still going to talk about Star Wars, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, let me know. But if you want to suggest videos, it doesn't have to be about fencing. It can be about whatever. You can join my Patreon community, and then you can do that too. And you should think about doing that, because I am not monetized. Because YouTube is like, I'm sorry, it's taking us a really long time to review people. And they probably, every time I make a new Star Wars video, they probably just put me on the bottom of that queue, because they're like, Jesse doesn't say things that align with our personal beliefs, so we're just gonna bleep, 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 bleep. So at this rate, I will probably never be monetized. Who knows? Which means that I need money, because I'm not making any from YouTube. So subscribe to my Patreon, buy my awesome t-shirt. Also, please, guys, time is running out on Grizzled, which is the movie about a giant mutant penguin that eats people, that I will be in if it gets funded. So please share the crap out of that Kickstarter link. Make this movie happen. Be a part of something bigger than yourselves, guys. That's my Happy Thursday message for you.